James Cameron's long-awaited sequel, Avatar: The Way of Water, has finally opened in theaters. In order to justify its massive budget, Cameron has stated that it would have to be the third or fourth biggest film of all time just to break even. So, does it offer an awesome visionary spectacle that will have audiences rushing back to the theater? Let's find out. Years after the events of the first movie, Jake Sully is raising a family with his Na'vi wife, Neytiri. When humans return to Pandora to colonize the planet, Sully and his family seek haven with the Reef people, who teach them their sea culture and way of life. Coming into this movie, I told myself I was going to maintain my skepticism and critical detachment. I wasn't going to be swept up by the hype. However, once I sat down in the theater and saw the gorgeous vistas of Pandora appearing through the mist, I said to myself, I am just going to let go, put my rational brain on hold, and just enjoy the richly immersive environments, alien cultures, and heart-pumping action. Avatar is one of those environmentally themed sci-fi narratives such as Hayao Miyazaki's Nausicaa or Mad Max, where war, corporate greed, and technological progress have devastated the Earth, alienated us from nature, and left us with a deep sense of loss for the once beautiful planet we selfishly destroyed. Pandora is James Cameron's utopian stand-in for Mother Nature, which humanity has turned their back on. Pandora represents a harmonious natural world untouched by humanity. It's a simple and romanticized premise, but it does create some emotional stakes, even if they come off a bit contrived at times. In James Cameron's Aliens, the greedy human corporation is identified with the alien parasites that spread from planet to planet. However, human and alien were still distinguished. In Avatar, humans have become the alien parasites. Other than a few outsiders like Jake Sully, humanity is depicted as almost comically irredeemable. For example, one of the human generals often has a cup of coffee and looks smugly detached as she executes a plan to violently displace the Na'vi people. Committing mass devastation and destruction was just a normal day on the job for her. Too much CGI often takes me out of a film, but this movie really turned the corner for me on the capacity of computer effects to create an illusion of embodied life and movement. I was so impressed by the level of texture incorporated into every frame. The attention to detail when creating the CGI environments and alien species is truly astounding. The subtle details, such as when the shadows of the trees hit a face or the glimmer of wet skin on the body, looked incredibly natural and lifelike. The use of motion capture also greatly helped to make the Na'vi movements look natural, especially for the underwater sequences, which are some of the most striking sequences in the movie. There's a whale scene, which I know has been criticized as unnecessarily prolonged and self-indulgent, but I didn't find it so and thought it fit in with the overall tone and themes. Part of the fun of journeying into these epic worlds is to just pause for a moment to take in the sublime majesty and scale of it all, which is often embodied in these great creatures that inhabit these worlds and reflect back on our human smallness, which is why I love the whale scene so much. I appreciate how James Cameron allowed us to take a breath every so often, so we could enjoy exploring the world of Pandora apart from the main story arc. These atmospheric and visually focused moments really brought the world to life for me and, instead of halting the story, immersed me further into the story being told, because it opened up heightened visual layers and levels that made the world feel natural and lived in. Cameron's knack for world building is also expressed in his approach to the technology in Avatar. The human ships and hardware look like realistic versions of what tech would look like in the future. Cameron uses a technique called retrofitting, which Ridley Scott also used in Blade Runner. The concepts for their sci-fi technology are created by adding new technology or features to older or current tech. I love how these concept designs are grounded in certain principles and rules to make them more believable. For criticisms, the sequel does suffer from some pretty cringy dialogue, particularly during Sam Worthington's running narrative monologue. Worthington gives a flat, monotone performance that even his cool Na'vi avatar can't enhance or elevate into anything more expressive. To his credit, Worthington is not entirely to blame, since the bad dialogue doesn't serve his performance at all, particularly when he hammers home the point about the importance of family and kinship, which is when the film feels like it is talking down to the audience. Avatar: The Way of Water was designed to be viewed in 3D. However, I decided to see it in 2D, which has the lowest picture quality. There were only 2 other people in the theater, so it wasn't a popular choice. It was really just a personal preference. I had seen the first Avatar in 3D and found it more distracting than immersive. I found myself focusing on little details in the image and missing the bigger spectacle. Watching the film in 2D, I was less distracted and just enjoyed the experience more. I may end up seeing the 3D version when I go see it again, so my opinion might change. I would definitely recommend you see this one on the biggest screen available. The story is simple and follows similar emotional beats as the first movie, but the world building is complex, immersively detailed, and on an imaginative scale that will just take your breath away. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't, please like and subscribe, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video.